who feel enslaved by our fate. I cannot be unique in all of creation. I know my path. I will find those disillusioned of the war and lead them. I was struck down in the third charge. I lay upon the ground, only to wake in chains. I did not know that demons took prisoners. I babbled like a fool about my dreams of escaping this war. My captor freed me and said that we would meet again. Her name was Lilith, daughter of Mephisto. Lilith is me, but of fire and flame. I could never have felt this way about a demon while I was mired in the endless war. The strain holds us prisoner to what we've been told to believe. She and I have made plans. We will bring others to our cause, and together we will escape. Those who follow us are strong in purpose and conviction, but we are only few. Yet if we can obtain the power of the World Stone, it will be enough. We will scale the wind sheer slope, steal into the heart of the fortress, and be gone before anyone notices the stone's disappearance. Can I truly love a demon? When I gave the World Stone to Lilith, I knew I'd been right to seek her all along. We have created a new world. We can live here in peace, away from war. I have named this world Sanctuary. When I see Lilith sleeping at my side, I'm filled with dark thoughts. My sins are real, and I will surely pay for them. We live in peace for now, but it cannot last. They will come for me. But what of my great deeds? When I'm in torment, who will celebrate those? Who will remember Inarius?
Indeed, the angel was right about paying for his sins. Inarius possessed great power. However, he took exception to his children's potential being more powerful than he. Because of how he had tied himself to the World Stone, his strength was great enough that he could even give the prime evils pause, and could cast individuals into the void if he so desired. With great power comes great fear, and he decided to remain as the unquestionable authority on Sanctuary, and effectively hobbled his children, the Nephilim, and used the World Stone to lessen their power over time. Unfortunately, other angels and demons also panicked at this new offshoot's unmitigated potential when they learned heaven and hell had discovered Sanctuary and their bastard children. They voted to snuff them out entirely. Troubled by this weighty decision, Inarius headed off for meditation on the matter. But an enraged Lilith killed all those angels and demons alike who dared threaten her children, which only she was allowed to manipulate, as any caring mother would. When heaven and hell caught wind of his transgressions of absconding with the World Stone and playing father to his new children, the Nephilim, they were none too pleased, and a four-sided skirmish broke out called the Sin War. In this war, heaven, hell, Inarius, and Lilith battled for the control of Sanctuary. Due to Lilith attacking the angels and demons in which she created this sanctuary, and siding against the angel Inarius, who swore to never harm his one-time lover, instead banished Lilith to the Void, a world between worlds, not once but twice. And this is where she remained until the events of Diablo 4. Eventually, the Sin War concluded when a repowered Nephilim, Uldyssian, defeated Inarius and, in a final act of sacrifice, banished heaven and hell from Sanctuary. Reeling from the events, Heaven's Angiris Council decided to create a pact with the prime evils of hell, in which poor Inarius was offered to Mephisto as a peace offering for the banishment of his daughter. Mephisto immediately set to work torturing Inarius for centuries. The Diablo 1 manual outlined what Mephisto did, as he was said to have taken Inarius to the burning hells. He then bound Inarius with tremendous chains, and slowly tore the wings from his back of the angel. Great barbed hooks were then used to stretch out his once glowing skin, and his features were distorted by vile powers. Now, Inarius is said to be trapped in hell within a chamber of mirrors, his eyelids torn from his face as he's forced to gaze upon his misshapen form for all eternity. As an aside, this seems implausible, as angels during Diablo 1 had more fleshy forms and were more akin to modern-day representations, as seen in one of my favourite pieces of artwork by Chris Metzen depicting the angel Iswal being dragged to hell. Additionally, Tyrael's later removal of his own wings turned him mortal, and angels are said to be primarily beings of light and vibration. and the bulk of them is in the wings. Conversely, during the By 3 They Come cinematic, the Zakarum priest witnesses a flash of Inarius being bound by chains and screaming with no eyelids, although he is somewhat winged at the time, and perhaps they can regrow for some lucky angels.
The cathedral loves to go on about him. His imprisonment in hell, his valiant escape, his glorious return here, the world he created. But they never mention how being tortured in hell for a few millennia turned you into an ass.
Which brings us to the pertinent question. How does a tortured, half-mad Inarius escape Mephisto's hell, and the jailer who attended the fallen angel personally? As mentioned in the 2013 Reaper of Souls lore panel, Mephisto left a jailer for Inarius. However, during the lore panel Q&A for Diablo 4, former lead game designer Jesse McCree states,
Alright, our next question is from Thunderclaw. Thunderclaw asks, what happened to all the souls trapped in the Black Soul Stone once it was destroyed? It's a great question.
That is a great question.
Jesse?
I think previously we've said that they were all bound together on further introspection and consulting with the Herodrum. I don't know how that could be the case for such a long time. If they've been trapped in there as separate entities, you're going to want to fight to separate. This has happened even up to godhood in the lore. So they're probably separate, and they will come back at some point.
They're all out there.
They're all out there.
Yes,
They're gonna come
that
back.
brings me back to the first question, actually, which I was thinking about while we were talking, that Inarius' jailer is one of those.
That's true.
So that could create problems for Sanctuary.
Yeah, okay, cool. That makes sense. Woo.
Jesse is, of course, referring to Mephisto, who had an unnamed jailer oversee Inarius' stay in hell. Who then was likely to take on that role, and why would they allow the angel to escape? Well, Mephisto had supposedly left Inarius in the care of his jailer, not when he was trapped in the Black Soulstone, as Jesse McCree had misspoke, as the Soulstone was already destroyed by Malthael, but according to former Blizzard alumni Justin Parker, it was during the Great Exile, when Mephisto was exiled to Sanctuary with his brothers and trapped in his own Soulstone in the depths of Kurast. So then, who is Inarius' jailer, and why did they go MIA? Well, the easiest contender is the demon known to imprison angels repeatedly during the events of the series, named Rakanoth. As A, he was in charge of Iswal during his stay in hell until he had become a demon, then he was loosed in the Plains of Despair, and B, absent from hell during the Prime's gambit to destroy heaven, in which they'd enlisted the aid of Rakanoth to capture another important target, Auriel. Seeing as Diablo and his brothers believed this would be their ultimate victory, it makes sense to question why would they even care about Inarius escaping captivity if they believed in their grand scheme they were about to take over heaven and hell completely. So it stands to reason that this was the perfect window where Inarius indeed did escape.
In the beginning, Rakanoth served Andariel, the Maiden of Anguish, with efficient brutality, for his touch may open up many painful wounds. He was also the warden of Iswal during many long years that the angels suffered in Rakanoth's own Plains of Despair. But he has quit his realm unexpectedly in recent time.
So we know officially at one point Inarius didn't have a jailer, and during the events of Diablo 3, the bulk of Hell's forces had moved to heaven to try and mount an assault. So it stands to reason this was the perfect window where Inarius indeed could escape, and probably did. However, to play devil's advocate, as this is all still speculation, there is one final sticking point of Inarius' escape under the one-time care of Rakanoth, which happens to be ex-Diablo developer Louis Barriga, who stated that all the times that playable characters have entered hell in this series, they've never been near Inarius' prison. And as we know, we had travelled the Plains of Despair, which were owned by Rakanoth during the events of Diablo 2. So perhaps there is another unknown jailer which we will meet in Diablo 4, or perhaps unseen aid during the Angel's escape.
Were we ever close to Inarius' prison during our Diablo adventures?
No, we actually thought about messing with you with this one, but no.
Nice. Okay, moving on. You passed. You survived the lightning round. Congratulations.
Blood of a demon.
Not just any demon. The daughter of hatred. The mother of Sanctuary. She was banished ages ago. But this world is her creation.
The story of Lilith begins, like most stories in the Diablo universe, with conflict. But this conflict was not between nations, tribes, or people. No, it was between the very forces of creation, between the celestial hosts of the high heavens and the malevolent entities of the burning hells. In the universe of Diablo, these two factions wage a relentless war, known as the Eternal Conflict. In this battle, the three primevals rule over the armies of hell. Among them, Mephisto, Lord of Hatred. It was from this entity of pure malice that Lilith was born. She was sired into a universe brimming with hostility, a world where the clashes of angels and demons echoed across reality. From her father Mephisto, Lilith inherited a fierce will. She was a demon, yes, but not a mindless beast. She was cunning, intelligent, and strong. Her uncles, Diablo, the Lord of Terror, and Baal, the Lord of Destruction, each held sway over their domains, further intensifying the infernal trio that oversaw the chaos of the burning hells. But Lilith was different. She grew dissatisfied with the endless cycle of violence. She found herself yearning for something more, something beyond the confines of this war. This sentiment would be the catalyst for the events to unfold, events that would drastically change the course of this universe. Hi everyone, I'm Nyx, and I write lore videos on the Diablo universe and its many characters and stories. Welcome to this deep dive into Lilith's story. If you like this video, please leave me a like, and if you love it, a subscription would be much appreciated. Now that that's out of the way, let's get started.
My father is content to fight the same battles and the same foes while everything turns to ashes. Though his victories might last a day, or a year, or 100 years, the war will never be won so long as he and his brothers lead. There is an end to it, but fools like my father are too blind to see it.
In the grand tapestry of the Eternal Conflict, each thread tells a story, and as we pull on the thread of Lilith, we find a narrative that stands apart from the rest. A story steeped in betrayal, love, fear, and hope. A tale that speaks volumes about the shades of grey that lie between the black and white of good and evil, angels and demons. This is where we begin our journey, in the midst of eternity, on the precipice of a change that would reverberate across the cosmos. From the depth of the burning hells, we follow the path of Lilith, daughter of Mephisto, as she journeys beyond the realm of her birth, seeking refuge from this conflict, and ultimately creating something entirely new.
I took a prisoner in the battle, an angel whose light was dimming. I brought him to my lair for my amusement, but he surprised me. My touch seemed to breathe life into him. He raved like a madman about how he wished to escape the war. Perhaps I have found someone I can use.
From the midst of eternity, we now arrive at a pivotal moment in Lilith's journey, her encounter with Inarius, an angel from the high heavens. Captured by Lilith in the throes of the war, Inarius was initially just a captive, a trophy for Lilith to have fun with. But as she breathed life back into him, something unexpected happened. He began to speak, and what he said resonated with her own dissatisfaction with the eternal war they were caught in. His desire to escape the eternal conflict echoed her own yearnings. This moment of shared understanding forged a bond between them, a bond further deepened by Inarius' affection for Lilith. As the daughter of Mephisto, she was no stranger to manipulation, yet the relationship between her and Inarius was complex. Some may view it as a love story between a demon and an angel, breaking the chains of their inherent hostility. Yet others might view it as Lilith cunningly exploiting Inarius' dissatisfaction with the eternal conflict for her own ends. I'll let you tell me what you think in the comments below. Personally, I believe she thinks she's manipulating him, and in a way she is, but there are some emotions in there. Their shared vision led to a daring act, one unheard of in the annals of the eternal conflict. Together with a band of like-minded angels and demons, Lilith and Inarius stole the World Stone, a powerful artifact.